Welcome back to Rich Words Music, where today we're looking at this. It's the 2023 PJD Guitars new Woodford Standard. PJD guitars are made in England instruments, and the standard range is their most affordable. In late 2023, PJD revamped and revitalized the standard range with a host of new features, new design options, new colors, new pickups, pretty much new everything. Now, there's a bunch of videos about the older standard PJ guitars elsewhere on YouTube that you can watch, and I've also done a video of the old standard St. John, which is the offset model, and the new standard St. John, which is the newer version, the brother of this guitar, if you will. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the Woodford, which, as you can see, is an S-type Stratocaster-type guitar with a hardtail bridge and an HSS pickup configuration. So for someone like me, who's never been the world's biggest Strat-type guitar fan, this is actually right up my street in terms of specifications. So what I'm going to do in this video then is first tell you about the specs and the features of this specific guitar, then we'll play it in as many different musical styles as I can manage today, and afterwards I'll give you a few more in-depth opinions about this instrument, having played it pretty intensively over the past few weeks, so stick around for that. First though, those specifications and features. So this is the 2023 new Woodford Standard, and it's resplendent in this wonderful Firemist Gold finish. Just look at that, it's satin finished in nitro, and it is absolutely a thing of beauty to behold. A wonderful traditional looking instrument with a bit of subtle satin bling, and the maple neck goes really nicely with it too. Now, I'm a very picky person and I love rosewood and ebony fingerboards. That's, I think, the only way you could have made this guitar look any better, to have a dark fretboard. But just straight off the bat, what a fantastic looking instrument. And I can confirm that I first set eyes on this one at the 42 Gear Street 5 event in summer 2023, and this was the guitar that all of the YouTubers gravitated towards during the entire event. They all wanted to have this one because it's a prototype, or for whatever reason they haven't managed to end up with it. And after I have this one on loan for this video, I think it's going to a dealer somewhere in Europe, so check the links down there, and you never know, it might be up for sale. No affiliation there, no sponsorship or anything like that, but if it's for sale, I will put a link down there. It's probably going to cost around 1,300 euros new. That is the general price for the PJD new standard instruments. So under this wonderful Firemist Gold finish, we've got a solid obeche body, and that makes this guitar very, very light indeed. This specific one weighs 2.88 kilograms, which is 6 pounds 5 or thereabouts. So very, very light. It balances perfectly. It is a wonderful weight. Now, the rest of the front of the guitar, we have a traditional HSS Strat-type layout. So we put an off-white scratch plate here. We've got 3 pickups, a humbucker in the bridge, and 2 single coils in neck and middle. These are PJD's own pickups. So we've got the Wadfather humbucker in the bridge, which I know and love from the St. John standard, and we've got the Dr Wallace single coil pickups in neck and middle. We've got a 5-way selector switch to move between the pickups. We've got a master volume control and 2 tone controls. The first tone control controls the neck pickup, the second one here controls the middle pickup, and there is no control action going on with the Wadfather humbucker. That one's full on at 10 at all times. Underneath here we have a Gotoh hardtail bridge, and here we have your traditional plug in your Strat on the front of the body sort of operation. If I flick us round to the back of the body there, you can see that we've got the Strat tummy cutaway, string through body, and a really nice neck heel access joint here up at the top. And if we move up to the neck, you can see that we've got a really nice maple neck here that goes really well with the rest of the body. It gives us a great overall aesthetic picture, and we have a maple neck here too. Now, it's a C-shaped neck, it's a medium, sort of slightly chunky neck profile, very, very comfortable. We have a 25.5-inch scale length, so Fender scale length here. We have 22 Jescar nickel frets, and we have a 42mm bone nut. So it's a very nice modern feeling sort of a neck, and it has what we would refer to as a compound radius, moving from 10 inches down here up to 12 inches up at the dusty end of the fretboard. So it's great for chordal work, and it's great for soloing too. Should be a fantastic all-round playing fingerboard. Up at the headstock here we have that PJD logo on the front and 6-in-line Gotoh tuners on the back. I should also mention that the switches and the electronics here are top-notch too. We have Switchcraft switches and jack sockets and CT ETS, volume and tone pots. So top-notch pro quality stuff across the board, £1,300 or thereabouts. Is it worth the money? That's what we're going to find out next. And next we're going to play the guitar in as many different musical styles as I can manage. My rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 head. We'll start on the amp's clean channel and play some folk and some pop and maybe some country as well. Then we'll kick in my Greer Lightspeed Organic Overdrive and do some indie rock and some classic rock. After that we'll go up to the amp's lead channel and we'll play some harder rock and some punk, stuff like that. And then we'll go back to the clean channel. I'll kick in my Rev G3 distortion pedal. We'll tune the Woodford down to drop D and see if it can do a bit of metal and a bit of chugging, because why not? Enough talk then. This is the 2023 PJD Guitars new Woodford Standard. Let's play it now and we'll speak in more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the 2023 PJD Guitars new Woodford Standard, and I hope you enjoyed the playing and the tones. Quick question, this guitar, this body shape, Hardtail bridge, HSS pickups, does that make it a Stratocaster-type guitar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. For me, this is absolutely a kind of Strat, and it's actually basically my dream Strat in terms of specs. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you need 3 single coils and a whammy bar or a trem to make it a Strat-type guitar? Again, thoughts in the comments please, and I look forward to hearing your opinions. But now what I'm going to do is give you my opinions about this guitar because I've played it pretty intensively over the past few weeks, and I consider myself very lucky to have been able to do so because this is a prototype version of this guitar, and like I said, many YouTubers with much bigger channels than me expressed very high levels of interest in this specific guitar, and none of them seem to have got their hands on it yet, at least. But anyway, this instrument, first impressions, I was blown away by it. It looks fantastic. Look at that Firemist Gold finish. Look at that beautiful satin, sort of almost open pore sort of a grain. It is a sight of beauty, a thing to behold, and of course it caught everybody's eye at the 42 Gear Street 5 event. It looks wonderful. It's got that traditional body shape. It's got this beautiful zebra humbucking pickup here in the bridge as well. What a beautiful thing just to have on the wall. What a fantastic artwork it would be. So it looked fantastic, and it inspired everybody to pick it up. And when I picked it up, I loved the weight of this guitar as well. 2.88 kilograms or 6 pounds 5. That is pretty much a perfect weight for me. It balances really well too, so wonderful in that respect. And the other thing that I noticed, of course, is this maple neck. I already know that I love the PJD neck profile on their guitars, and the maple fingerboard just goes really well with this Firemist Gold finish too. The other first impression that I had was that this guitar, like all the new 2023 standard PJDs, comes with the mono M80 guitar sleeve hard gig bag case thing. It's a really decent gig bag that I wouldn't hesitate to take anywhere on tour, to gigs or anything like that. Really decent, really adds value to the package for me. So after the first impressions, the next thing I did was pick up the guitar, and feeling the build quality, well, it felt like every other PJ guitar I've ever felt. And in terms of setup and build quality, that means it's immaculate. Nothing to complain about whatsoever. The Firemist Gold finish has been beautifully applied to this guitar. All of the hardware, all of the electronics, top notch, everything works just as it should. And when it comes to the neck, PJD seem to know how I like my necks. We've got a really nice low to medium low action. The frets have been done perfectly. Everything just works as it should. I love that profile. The neck is super slinky to get up and down. No problems from me whatsoever. It just feels like home for me straight away. So it's a fantastic feeling instrument too. And with the fixtures like the Gotoh tuners and hardtail bridge and the CTS and Switchcraft pots and electronics, you know that you're getting top notch with this. The PJD ohm wound pickups are fantastic too, and we'll get onto the sounds in a bit. But in terms of build quality, this guitar is absolutely top notch. In terms of playability too, I find it very comfortable. For me, a Strat-type guitar without the trem, without the whammy bridge, is much more comfortable to play, and it has better tuning stability for me. I'm not really someone who uses the vibrato anyway. The neck is really comfortable. The body shape with the cutaways, very nice neck heel joint, very decent upper fret access. Playability absolutely as I would want to have it from any guitar. So after that then we come to that all important thing, and that is the sounds of this guitar. So we've got HSS pickup configuration here, we've got a PJD Wadfather humbucker in the bridge, and the Dr Wallace single coils in the neck and middle positions. And how do they sound? Well, for me, they sound like everything a Strat-type guitar should sound like, and a whole lot more, because with this HSS pickup configuration, I can basically play any kind of music that I would ever want, and I would posit that you probably could with this guitar as well. It's basically supremely versatile, like an HSS guitar should be. Starting from the clean tones then, we had everything from really nice mellow neck single coil pickup tones through to some pretty pokey humbucking tones on the bridge. This Wadfather does have a bit of grunt to it, so you've got those really nice classic tones on the one hand, perfect for folk and country and stuff like that, and then this bridge humbucker that gives you a bit of grunt even on the clean channel of my pretty clean H&K amplifier. Very versatile then. It worked fantastically for all of the sound examples in my opinion. Turning on the Greer Lightspeed organic overdrive though, and I was in what I think was home base for this guitar and for my playing too. For the indie rock stuff, the Wadfather humbucking pickup is just fantastic. And I love on a Strat-type guitar to use position 3, the middle position, which is just the middle pickup on its own. That's what Albert Hammond Jr. from the Strokes always does, and I think that sounds wonderful for those kinds of tones, and it worked wonders for me here too. Fantastic for indie rock then, and really big, thick, mid-pushed, raucous AC/DC type tones from the Wadfather humbucker for the classic rock sort of stuff as well. Really, really decent. When we went up to the heavier stuff and we did the punk rock and the harder rock, again, I was mostly on the Wadfather humbucker, and it did that fantastically. It's a massive sounding humbucker with lots of low end, but lots of precision and clarity too, and you can hear all of the 6 strings across a full power chord and stuff like that, so really, really nice. And that continued when we went down to drop D and we used the Rev G3 pedal for some pretty high gain tones too. This guitar can metal, no problems whatsoever. So from this really nice gentle neck single coil pickup through to the fatness and goodness and aggression of the Wadfather humbucker in the bridge, you can really cover 99.9% of sounds with this guitar, and I was impressed with all of them. So full marks to the Woodford New Standard in the sound stakes. If you've been watching this video then and you've really enjoyed the tones, but you're interested in kind of a similar sort of guitar, maybe from a different company, what else is out there? Well, there are a bunch of HSS Strat-type guitars out there on the market. Finding a hardtail is much more difficult though, and if you know of any, I would really appreciate your comments down there. Now for this sort of price point, what you could also try and do, if you do want to have a vibrato bridge, is go for the Standard Plus from PJD, which gives you exactly that. It gives you a Gotoh trem with everything else being the same, and that gives you even more versatility in that regard. It's a couple of €100 more, and it might well be worth it if that's what you require for your kind of music. Otherwise, obviously the first port of call is going to be Fender, and for around this sort of a budget you can be looking at their Player Plus Strats. There's a bunch of different pickup options there, different finishes, different bridge options, different types of necks and so on. The world is really your oyster in this kind of price range, so take a look around and see what works for you. Now when it comes to other brands of guitar that do the HSS thing for this sort of money, well, there are many other different options there as well. There are brands like Jackson, there are brands like Charvel, there are brands like Chapman that do instruments that do similar sorts of things, and they all have their own different quirks and their own different tastes. So again, try out as many as you can and pick the one that works for you. When it comes to guitars in this sort of a price range though, that are HSS in terms of pickups and that also are hardtail bridges, there's only one other that I could find, and that was an HSS hardtail Charvel San Dimas model. That's about €900, so a bit more affordable than this one, and it's much more modern in terms of aesthetic, and I would suspect, without having played it, that it's built for more metally sort of music too. Definitely higher gain output pickups than this specific guitar. But again, it might be just what you need, and it's definitely something that I'm going to try if I ever see one in the flesh, because like I've said repeatedly through this video, an HSS hardtail Strat-type guitar is definitely something that I would like to own in future. And just a couple more recommendations. The Schecter Nick Johnston signature models are excellent guitars. There's a couple of those at around the €1,000, $1,000 price point, which are definitely worth checking out. And the higher end Yamaha Pacifica instruments are also really, really decent HSS instruments too. But again, if you want hardtail, it's possibly the PJD or that Charvel or anything else that you folks can recommend in the comments for me. So please do let me know if there's any others that you know of. Overall though, I can heartily give 2 thumbs up and highly recommend this guitar. It's actually, for me personally, possibly my ultimate Strat style instrument. Hardtail bridge, HSS, plays like a dream, super versatile, looks fantastic. What more could I want? Well, not much really. Of course, being really picky, I could say I'd want a rosewood or an ebony fingerboard, but this guitar as it is a complete package, and it just works, and it's really, really, really good. Now, for £1,300, it's not the cheapest instrument out there. Of course, it's made in England, but for that price point, a bit below or even a bit higher, you could basically buy anything you wanted. So why should you pick this one? Well, I would just say test it out and see what you think. It's head and shoulders above many of the other guitars that I've tried at this sort of a price point, and I've tried a bunch of PJDs over the past couple of years, and they've all been sensational. So much so that I actually bought the St. John New Standard that I featured a few videos ago on this channel. I just couldn't let that one go, and I paid my own money to own that instrument. And I would have no qualms about buying this one either if I was in the market for a Strat-type instrument right now. And you never know, maybe in the next year or two I will be, and the Woodford New Standard in this configuration, also in Firemist Gold, will definitely be at the top of my list for guitars to try. It's really, really decent. Try one if you ever get the chance. I hope hope that this video has answered all of the questions that you might have had about this specific guitar, but if there's anything else you want to know, drop me a line down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you there in full. And if you're still watching, it would make my day if you wanted to give the video a like, or maybe even sub to my little channel, because that really does help. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich for Rich Words Music, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.